So a few weeks ago I released my video on Batman Arkham Asylum, and now just like I promised, we're doing Batman Arkham City. So in my last video I said Batman Arkham Asylum is my favorite, and while that's true, I don't think it's the best Arkham game. And some people say it's Knight, but most people feel as though City was the magnum opus of Arkham games. And I'm with the majority of people who say Arkham City is by far the best in the series. And that's not to say City does everything better than the other games, but by far it has the best story beats with the best pacing, and in my personal opinion it has the best bosses. And the only reason City isn't my favorite of the series is due to my nostalgia for Arkham Asylum being one of the first games I've ever played and beaten. And I mentioned this with Arkham Asylum as well, but they really know how to make a case look beautiful. There's just something about the white color palette. It's actually how they marketed their game. Matthew Geyer, Warner Bros. VP of Core Games Marketing, said, "You want to be a superhero as a kid, but as an adult, not so much. You'd rather play as a badass assassin or things like that." And we wanted those Assassin's Creed fans for Arkham City. Thus, Warner Bros. Had to find a way to sell Batman not as a superhero, but as a mass market action hero. Thus, they created these white paletted advertisements, with the purpose of making Batman look more weathered, tired, and quote, more like a man. So I really love the Arkham City story, and I never really paid much attention to it outside of what was shown in the games. But there's a lot of interesting stuff. Like seriously, did you know that Ra's al Ghul was responsible for rebuilding Wonder City and Wonder Tower 200 years ago? And it actually adds to the story. A lot of people had problems with the ending, believing it kind of came out of nowhere, and that's really because the game doesn't give you the entire context of the situation. So spoilers for the ending in case you wanted to experience the entire game or wanted to watch what happened in order. You can go ahead and skip to the actual gameplay section, it'll be timestamped below. So 200 years before the events of Arkham City, Ra's approached Gotham City Hall and negotiated with them to attain the deed for the city itself. While the council members found Ra's negotiations amusing and ridiculous in nature, they soon took him seriously when he showed them more gold than they've ever seen in their life from his old country. Ra's was soon awarded the deed and immediately set to work. He commissioned a new project to eradicate crime in Gotham, which was Wonder City. He developed robots from amazing technology that was way ahead of its time. They were known as the Wonder City Mechanical Guardians, and you actually see these in the game. However, while the residents of Wonder City celebrated Ra's as a genius and a hero, Wonder City was actually a front to cover a violent and sinister conspiracy that served Raz's desires. Behind the scenes, hundreds of criminals and even potentially innocent individuals were captured and violently murdered by the Wonder City Mechanical Guardians. In the meantime, Ra's had perfected the crown jewel of his city, Wonder Tower, which rose over the entire city as a monument of prosperity, but was actually part of Raz's experiment to test the Lazarus Pit. After Raz's actions were exposed, Wonder City was shut down and destroyed, and the residents were sent to Arkham Island while Ra's flees the city, and New Gotham is built over Old Gotham. Now 200 years later, Ra's used both Hugo Strange and Quincy Sharp and had the city council approve the creation of Arkham City, a city-sized super prison where super criminals would be permanently isolated from the rest of Gotham. But in reality, Ra's and Strange plotted to destroy the city and kill all the inmates once most of Gotham's criminals had been rounded up. Strange constructed his base of operations for that plot, dubbed Protocol 10, at Wonder Tower, and operated the entire city from his control tower in Wonder Tower Security Control Center. I will say, merely having Ra's reveal himself and then killing himself right after wasn't a great ending for a story, even though we do know that his body is missing, and I'll leave it at that to avoid too many spoilers before my Arkham Knight video. With that out of the way, it's time for Batman Arkham City. So remember when I mentioned the Catwoman episodes? Well, they sort of split them into sections throughout the story. We enter as Catwoman taking down all of Two-Face's security and cracking his safe.
Try and get one over on me, will you, Harv? I don't think so.
Get your filthy paws off that now. Ah!
Wake up, Mr. Wayne. We have much to discuss.
We learned that Bruce was actually arrested by Hugo Strange during a press conference. Oh, and in case you didn't know,
Just like you, Batman.
yeah, Hugo Strange knows who we are, and interesting enough, the reason Hugo actually arrested Bruce was because he couldn't get close enough to the Batman. We can actually see when Strange tried to capture Batman through this amazing promo that was released before Arkham City. Walking through the prison, we actually meet Deadshot. Before we can escape with Jack Ryder, Cobblepot ambushes me, and once we're in a less crowded area, I break free of my handcuffs, and how he doesn't realize I'm Batman, I have no idea. But I forgot to knock him out, and it wouldn't let me go back. So, after scaling the Ace Chemical building, we get to the iconic Batman Arkham suit up. If you remember the first part we played as Catwoman, Two-Face actually has Catwoman captured in the courthouse. After saving her from Two-Face, she's targeted again by the Joker, but Batman gets her out of the way. Batman goes to investigate where the shot came from, but we find Harley Quinn instead. We let Harley Quinn go and reach the top of the tower where the Joker has bombs waiting. We track the Joker down to the steel mill, where we learn the Joker is kidnapping doctors to treat him due to what happened back at the asylum. After saving the doctor, Joker tries to lock us in here, but what are the chances the doctor was locked in the same room that holds exactly what Batman needs to get through these doors? It's also how we break into the room Joker and Harley are in.
G-Man, you come into Mr. J's home and start smashing into pieces. Don't you know he's sick? Surprise, B-Man! Meet Mr. Hammer. He's gonna teach you some manners.
After dispatching Mr. Hammer,
You!
Get out of my way, Quinn.
Leave us alone, B-Man! Just leave me with him.
I said move!
You fell for the old fake Joker gag, Batman.
Batter up!
we get another Catwoman section, and this one introduces one of my least favorite parts of playing as Catwoman, the traversal. It's not bad, it's just slow. Too slow for me. And this is probably just a preference thing because in most games I play, I always opt for whatever classes or upgrades that offer speed. Other than that, we track down Ivy and she is not happy with us. We're back with Batman, Harley, and Joker, where we learn the Joker is not faking it and is actually sick. He also gave Batman some of his blood, poisoning him, and not only that, but he sent his blood out to all of Gotham's hospitals. Apparently Mr. Freeze was working on a cure for the Joker, so we hunt him down to the coldest part of Arkham City, the GCPD, and unfortunately Freeze wasn't here, but instead I was greeted by a bunch of Penguin's men. Last guy surrenders and tells me Penguin's keeping Freeze in the museum. We try to get in the museum, but the Penguin was ready. He set up 3 military-grade communication disruptors around Arkham City. The first was on top of the museum, the second was on a nearby building, and the third was all the way underground in some kind of old abandoned train station. After all 3 are destroyed, we finally gain access to the museum, where a bunch of cops have been kidnapped and tortured by the Penguin, and somehow the Penguin got his hands on Titan. Not entirely sure how he managed that one. I mean, I know there's Titan around the map, but if he really got his hands on that, you would think he would make more soldiers. Or maybe I'm just looking too much into it. The ice, it's very unstable.
Stay where I can see you, Batman. You wouldn't believe the fight the old snowman put up. Still, I got what I wanted. That's all that matters. Hold still, boy.
We'll see you have to move slowly, similarly to Arkham Asylum's Killer Croc section, except you have to move very slow. You can't just crouch and fully extend the thumbstick. You do have to be careful because there is a shark in the water and he is unrelenting. We save each of the cops stuck in the ice, and the game gives you some freedom of choice. Either go left and save Mr. Freeze first, which is optimal, so you don't have to backtrack later, or go right and save the cops and recover Mr. Freeze's device to use against the Penguin's freeze gun, which you don't know about originally. Before going after Penguin, we get another visit from old Bruce. And using the device we just grabbed from Freeze's suit, we disable Penguin's gun before disabling him. Not for long, however, as he...
You're finished, Cobblepot.
No, I'm sorry. Please, don't hurt me.
He blows up the ground beneath us, leading to the creature he's been hiding in the basement. I'm just wondering how Grundy got
Oh, don't look so sad. I've got a little surprise for you down there.
inside the museum. Oh no, it's pretty short, but Solomon Grundy is a pretty solid boss fight. I wouldn't necessarily say it's hard, but compared to the boss fights in Asylum, it definitely holds up. After Batman rips Grundy's heart out, jeez, it's just Batman and Penguin. We finally capture the Penguin.
Oi! Just you and me left. The Bat versus the Bird.
And deliver him to Mr. Freeze, who's back in his suit. Unfortunately, he tells us that he can't make the cure, not without a specific enzyme from a being that has lived for hundreds of years. And Batman knows just the man.
I've seen this before.
Unfortunately, he's dead. Batman doesn't know exactly where to find Roz. Fortunately for him, we
Someone to tell me where the body is. Then I can go wake him up.
Blasphemer! You are not worthy to speak of the great Ra's al Ghul!
Arkham City and into an ambush, but Batman placed a tracker on one of them before Robin makes his entrance. Yeah, Arkham Batman isn't big on help from others. We track the assassin down.
I'll get it to the hospitals and come back. You need my help here.
I can handle it. You're needed in Gotham. Things could get worse, much worse.
Down under Arkham City, leading through the sewers and abandoned old buildings where the Joker's blood starts taking a toll. Joker's men have another doctor taken hostage underground. After saving her, we continue down into Wonder City. We have to scan several of these mechanical guardians spread throughout the map, and after completing the data, we get a video on how to access the secret door. I didn't have a key until this assassin gave me one. Appreciate the help. We find our way through, but the poison is too strong and Batman starts to hallucinate his parents. After tracking down Talia al Ghul, Roz's daughter, and Batman's, well, down.
Your face!
To talk to Roz, we need to take the demon trials, but to do that, we need to drink a little bit of the Lazarus Pit. I'm not sure if these are the same for everyone because I don't see many people being able to glide like Batman. After completing the trials, we finally get to meet Ra's al Ghul, and he looks like shit. Batman refuses to kill Roz, so Roz jumps into the pit, and I'm gonna be completely honest, this is my favorite version of the pit. The fact that it needs electricity to work, and he apparently experimented on Solomon Grundy to perfect the healing process of the pit. We get to fight some regard as their favorite boss fight in the game, Ra's al Ghul. Some parts of this fight are literally copied into the Deathstroke boss fight in Origins, which I wasn't really a fan of because everything else in that boss fight was amazing. But we'll talk about that when we get there. Roz takes a few different forms. He's either in his avatar form with his orbiting sand shields that you have to shoot past, or he'll spawn a bunch of sand guys and will attack you at random times. Overall, I feel as though Roz holds the mantle for the most diverse boss fight. It really stood apart from any other boss fights from before. We get a sample of Roz's blood and head back to the surface, where we learn Quincy Sharp has been kidnapped for a second time in an Arkham game. After interrogating Sharp, we get just one of the several times Oracle needs to convince Batman to do the right thing. We reach the DCP.
Bruce, I'm seeing massive spikes on your suit's biometric analyzer. Your health. It doesn't look good.
I just had a chat with our old friend Quincy Sharp. He confirmed that Strange is working with someone else. I'm going to find out who.
What are you talking about? You need to get that blood to freeze now.
I will. I just need to.
No, you don't. You need to go back to the GCPD. Please, Bruce. For me?
Mr. Freeze is waiting for us. He makes the cure, but instead of just giving it to us, he destroys it. And I'm gonna be completely honest, this made no sense. Especially for who is supposed to be such a smart guy, who knows Batman. And don't get me wrong, I love this boss fight just like everybody else, but why in the world would Freeze piss off Batman by destroying the cure if he was gonna ask Batman to save Nora's life? Like, if he just gives Batman the cure, Batman would have helped him. And in fact, Batman still does help him regardless. Now, this boss fight is amazing, and I know a lot of people hold this boss fight to be the best, or at least one of the best in the entire series. I know I do. You have to be smart and tactical with how you attack him, as it'll only work once. You can electrocute him to this wall, sneak attack, jump attack, use his own weapon against him, hide in the grates. There's so many ways you can do damage, and I didn't even name most of them. After beating him, we learned that while we were busy, Harley managed to sneak the cure from under our noses. So now it's time to head to the steel mill. Before that, Mr. Freeze is kind enough to give us a new grenade called the Freeze Blast so we can get past these pipes. Leaving the building, we were greeted by Vicky Vale. Unfortunately, the helicopter was shot down, so we have to rescue her before we get a call from the Joker. We reach his...
Now, see what you've done. The poor woman's all confused. Hardly surprising.
Doctor's waiting for us. I always mess that up. We finally reach the Joker, and he's looking... Joker spawns in a...
Where is it?
Manners cost nothing, Batman. A please wouldn't go amiss. I mean, if you wanted to be cured so badly, you only had to ask.
Bunch of inmates and Titan soldiers, and Mr. Hammer. You also have to dodge train cars that will run through the map every so often. Honestly, as far as boss fights go, this part gave me a lot of trouble when I played as a kid. I was terrible at fighting the Titan soldiers, but now they really aren't that bad. Before we can finish the Joker, the roof collapses on us and the Joker takes advantage of the situation. But Talia shows up and offers the Lazarus Pit for Batman's life. Obviously, she never truly intended on keeping the deal, as she placed one of Batman's trackers on herself. We cut back to Catwoman, who Ivy still has tied up. Catwoman offers to help her plans Hugo has in her vaults in exchange for helping her get into the vault. We get access through the sewers, and we need to sneak around the room and acquire 3 keys that we swipe on the main console to unlock the vault. Now the guards are alerted and believe Batman is there. We take them out and enter the vault before we can get what we came for, but Hugo sends more fodder for us to clean up. After that's taken care of, we discard Ivy's plants and we leave with the briefcases, but on our way out we see Batman, and we are given a choice: leave Batman to die, or save Batman. Choosing to leave just restarts the section. We finally reached Batman, and to be honest, it didn't even look like he needed my help. Catwoman barely did anything. He literally lifted the rubble himself. Anyway, Batman is left with the moral choice of one life versus an entire city, when Oracle has to convince Batman to stop Protocol 10 before going after Talia. After finally being convinced, we search each of these helicopters for the key codes to Wonder Tower. We reach Wonder Tower where Hugo has been waiting for us. He thinks he has us surrounded, but that didn't last long. Okay, I'm not gonna lie though, this part would actually give me trouble as a kid. There were just so many enemies. Interestingly enough, if you walk through this door, this is actually where you started the game. Pretty cool. We finally reach Wonder Tower elevator and take it all the way up, where we had a little surprise for these guys. We scale the outside of Wonder Tower all the way up to the peak where Hugo Strange is hiding in his control room, protected by his security guards. Hugo Strange will actually look for you and point you out to his guards, and your methods of disappearing are very limited in this building, so you have to be careful and plan accordingly. And now it's time to put an end to Hugo Strange madness. Hugo is killed by Ra's at the...
Oracle, shut this place down.
It's the beginning. You cannot stop me. Soon I will command forces beyond your comprehension. I have achieved what the great Batman could never do. Gotham will forever thank Hugo Strange!
Your part in this is over, Professor Strange.
The last moment after seeing Batman defeated him. In his dying moments, Hugo Strange activates Protocol 11, setting off a bomb that Batman just barely escapes from with Ra's. But when Batman tries to save Ra's from falling to his death, he tries to kill himself and Batman. Before we can even process what just happened, the Joker took control of this giant TV right in front of me. He's at Monarch Theater with Talia, ready for the final showdown. We reach the Monarch Theater, but Talia supposedly kills the Joker and grabs the cure. But it was Clayface the...
Talia!
Ladies and gentlemen, for one night only, standing in for yours truly, and doing a damn fine job of it, I give you Clayface.
Entire time. Well, the healthy looking Joker at least. And man, did he do a good job acting. Welcome to the final boss of Arkham City. Personally, I think it's great. It's not one of the best, but it's also not underwhelming. One of the easier ones. Especially Phase 2. After freezing Clayface and slicing him up 3 times, the Joker will blow the ground up and we fall down into Wonder City. Now we use the sword as we fend off Clayface's soldier and wait for Clayface to open his mouth so we can throw Freeze Blast. After doing it 3 times, Joker tries to jump into the pit, so to stop him, Batman throws the sword at the hanging electrical equipment, which falls and knocks Clayface into the Lazarus pit. I'm not 100% sure what happened to him, but I'm pretty sure he's in a permanent liquid state now and can't take any form. In an attempt to get the cure from...
What are you waiting for? Come on! I killed your girlfriend, poisoned Gotham and hell. It's not even breakfast. But so what? We all know you'll save me.
Every decision you've ever made ends with death and misery. People die. I stop you. You'll just break out and do it again.
Think of it as a running gag! No!
Batman. The Joker stabs him in the shoulder, causing Batman to drop the cure all over the ground. And the Joker desperately tries to lick up anything he can, but it's too late. And the Batman tells him a final joke. And that is the end of the Batman.
Want to know something funny? Even after everything you've done, I would have saved you.
That actually is pretty funny.
Arkham City story. There is a final Catwoman section, but my footage got corrupted, and I'm gonna be completely honest, I hate that section more than anything. It has to be my least favorite part of any Arkham game ever, and yet I force myself to play it every time. So that concludes today's video. I hope you have all enjoyed. I'm glad my previous video on Asylum didn't completely flop. It wasn't looking great for a little bit, but it's not doing too bad now. And we'll see how this video does. I do want to do Origins at night, so make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe if you're looking forward to those. Anyways, I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.